In this video, you will learn how to use count, COUNTA, COUNTIF, and COUNTIFS formulas in Excel. Count is used to count the cells containing numbers, while COUNTA is used to count cells that are not empty. So it literally counts anything. COUNTIF is used to count a range of cells based on a certain criteria, and COUNTIFS is used to count a range of cells based on multiple criteria. Let's start with learning to use these formulas. So the very first one here that I have is count, and let's try something. As I mentioned, that count is used to count the cells containing numbers. So let's start with using equal to count. In my previous videos, I have mentioned that you have to start every formula with an equal to. So that's what I have here, equal to count, open parenthesis, and I have to count the values, value 1, value 2, or select a range of cells that I want to count. Let's start with column D, and I'm trying to count D1 to D21, and let's see what I get. I got a 0, and this is because, as I mentioned, count can only count the cells that contain numbers. So let's try and change this from D to my cells that actually have numbers in them. So maybe let's just try these few cells, and it gave me 5, which means that I selected 5 cells that have numbers in them. Okay, so let me go back and edit this, and this time I'm going to select from C2 to C21, and I got 20. If I go back and I select the entire column, let's see what happens. It still gives me 20 because the very first cell in this column, which is C1, does not have a number in it. It has a text. So it is essentially counting all the cells that have numbers, which is C2 through C21. So 20 is the right count here. Okay, let's try count A to do the exact same thing. Okay, I'm going to start with an equal, count A, and really count A is count anything. So if there is anything in this cell, this formula is going to count that. So count A, and this time again, let's start with a few cells first, and let's see what it gives. It gives us 6. Okay, I'm going to delete this and type count A again, and this time let's try the column D. So I'm going to select the entire column, and let's see what it gives me. It gave me 21. It gave me 21 because it counted all these cells that have anything in them. So right from D1 through D21, and as you can see, even here at the bottom you can see the count as 21. So that's what count A does. Okay, moving from count A to count if. Now, as I mentioned, count if is used to count number of cells based on a certain criteria. So what I have here is that I want to count all the cells in this particular column called city, where the city is London. Okay, so let's try doing that. I'm going to use my formula, start off with count and then count if, and what is the range that I want to look for. So this is my entire range, which is column B. So I'm going to select column B, and what is the criteria? The criteria is that cell has to have London in it. So I'm going to refer this particular cell, which is my criteria, and parenthesis close, hit enter. I got 5. So there are 5 cells in this column with London in them, and even if I look at here, these are those 5 cells. Okay, I can do the same thing for Seattle and Dubai. So let's do that now. I'm going to use count if. I'm going to select my range and the criteria, so I would refer it to this cell, and there are 6 cells that have Seattle in them. Let's see how many have Dubai. Count if. I'm going to select the column and my reference. 3. There are 3 cells that have Dubai in them. And here are those 3 cells. COUNTIFS is a better version of COUNTIF, wherein you can count the number of cells using multiple criteria. So here I am going to go ahead with 2 different criteria. One is that the city has to be London, and the second criteria is that gender has to be male. So I'm going to use the city as well as gender. Okay, So let's go with count if s. So I'm trying to do count if s. It says criteria range 1 and then criteria 1. So here, this is my criteria range 1. I'm going to select the entire column. And what is the criteria 1? It is how many of these cells have London in them. So I'm going to refer it to the cell. What is my criteria range 2? It is the column which has gender. So I'm going to select this column. And what is my second criteria? It is M. So I'm going to refer it to M and parenthesis close and hit enter. 4. So it tells me that there are 4 cells which meet the criteria where the city is London and gender is male. And if we go to London here, let's look at this particular data. The count of customers that are in London and male is 4, which is what I got here. Can do the same thing for Seattle and Dubai. So let's start again with COUNTIFs. I'm going to select my criteria range first and refer it to Seattle. Criteria range 2 and refer it to female. And there I go. I have got 3 customers who live in Seattle and are females. Let's look for Dubai. So I'm going to do it again. COUNTIFs, criteria range, and then criteria range 2 and criteria. Parenthesis close, hit enter, 2. So you can see here, Dubai, there are 2 customers who are females. So I have used COUNTIFs to find this intersection of count of cells with multiple criteria. Now, what is really interesting about using the entire column when you're giving the criteria is that if I add any set of new data to my table, my results for these COUNTIFs and COUNTIF functions would automatically get updated. So let's say I add someone else who is in Dubai. Let's call them customer number 0021, and let's say the revenue for them is right now 0 and they are female. So you can see here that my COUNTIFs automatically got updated, and the same happened for count of customers in Dubai. I hope you enjoyed learning how to use these formulas, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you like the content and would like to watch similar videos. Keep learning, learning is fun.